Hello, I'm Wendy Silver, and this is the day one video. I'm kind of shocked that we have to do a video every day, and I was so happy when I got through the first welcome video and I was going to just handle my classwork and go team go, and then I saw that there was a video every day and I'm still trying to get over that. But I got to tell you, it's exactly what I needed. Because I can be comfortable I'm excited about this class because you're pulling me out of my comfort zone, and I don't know how to edit, so I can't edit. So it took me an hour to get ready for the class regarding my mindset for the video. So I'll get right to it. Day one of the video, this is the mindset that dominates my thoughts when in flow. First thing that came to mind was the first time that I can remember ever being in like a flow state, ever. So this was when I was a kid, waving to people. And I call it, so these little stories, if you're gonna speak, gotta name your stories, it's called The Wave. And it was me and my brother sitting on our front porch, and the house was under construction, and everybody was already looking at the house as they passed because it was under construction. We'd cleared the land and they were going home from work, and everybody was driving like this. And so I'm sitting there on the porch watching the traffic, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if I could make them smile? And I was about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 years old, doesn't matter. And I told my brother, I said, hey, let's just start waving at them. And we did. We started just waving at the cars as they went by. And you should see them, they're like, and they would smile. And I'm just like, it made me feel so good. Yeah, I need something to stop making me cry so much. So that feeling I never forgot. And it's powerful. And that's the way I always wanted to make people feel. Happy, elated, joyful. Because that's, I don't know how I knew, but I knew. And I didn't know how I was going to work with spirit, but I'm whittling it down. But that's the first time I ever was in flow, and it was powerful, very powerful. And I was like, wow, how come this felt so amazing? And I know you don't know how to get back into flow. And one other time, I don't even have this written down, but one other time I was in flow, and I don't know why. The why isn't what's important, the why or the how. I guess for flow or how you're going to do things. Forget my tears, you guys. This is only the second video, and but it's tears of joy, tears of happiness. I was in flow. It was actually a Friday the 13th. It was Friday, I had gotten paid, and I was driving to my friend's house, and this was I was probably 18 years old, and I was in such an amazing state. I was like, wow, this feels good. I guess because there was no resistance, everything was flowing well, just extremely happy. And a pigeon comes down and hits my car, and he doesn't make it, he dies. And I'm like, now how did that happen? I feel so amazing. I can't let that bird affect what I have going on. And I'll never forget that transformation of the thought process of allowing the flow to continue, because I finally figured out that maybe the bird was sick. If he couldn't stay in the air, well, he was sick. He was going to die anyway, and he just happened to hit my car. But I never forgot the methodical process of staying in flow, because that had nothing to do with me. I just happened to be there, and it was his time to go. And that was still amazing, and I was a teenager. That wasn't even written down. I forgot about that one. I'll have to write it. So it's basically the state of flow happens when there's no resistance to what's happening, and that allows you to be able to receive your messages, your intuition, your guidance. and it's pretty powerful. So no resistance is when amazing things happen. So I got to make sure I stay on point here. The mindset that dominated me when things of the flow. So I mentioned my premonition that allowed me to know that California was where I was supposed to be, and not that I even wanted to go. I created my life wherever I was and created my own happiness. I didn't need to be out in this beautiful state to do it. I could do it wherever I was, which was Alabama, by the way. I was 19 years old, and I call this one Grandma's Apple Pie, because it was a crazy situation. I was out of school. I had finished some college when I was going for business. I had a full-time job as an executive secretary. I was 19, and I was in an awesome relationship, and I had a nice home, and I was cleaning my home, and I was vacuuming, and I felt so good. I mean, it was like, it just felt accomplished and comfortable and at ease. And I'm not gonna cry over this one, but and now I know, in hindsight, when you can connect the dots, it was that lack of resistance once again, in that moment of just elation, of being able to enjoy where you are, joy in the moment. Eckhart Tolle, the power of now. Boom, right? I had a premonition, and it was this vision of a grandma bending over. There was no TV on, first of all. There was nothing to influence me about anything. I didn't have, because I looked around like, well, where did this come from? What would have influenced me? It was just me vacuuming. And it was a grandma bent over, opening up the oven and pulling out this amazing hot apple pie and putting it like under my nose, and had this twinkle in her eye, like, you see this pie? This is what California is going to be like when it's time for you to go. It's going to be home. And I was like, what the hell? And I never forgot it. I felt so comfortable, so at ease. It felt like home. It felt right. And like I said, I mean, the time shift in this, I was 19 when that happened. And at the age of 33, I wound up moving to California, and knowing that it was the right thing to do, that it was where I was supposed to be, no matter what was going to happen. That marriage was dissolving. I knew it, but I knew that's where I was supposed to be. So that shift of just knowing and allowing me to make that move, I just waited on things to, happen with that, but I started following my purpose from there. I had been watching Oprah with The Secret, so those are my mentors. Those are my first mentors. We didn't have computers, and Oprah comes into your living room, and she's following her passion, and she's just got The Secret on, and I was hooked. I was hooked. So back to the dominant thoughts of being in flow. Isochronic tones got me back into flow. You have your ebb and flow in life where you're doing a lot of this, that, and the other, and because life takes hold. And I always wanted to work with spirit. 4 nights of listening to isochronic tones in my ears lit me up like a firecracker. I was like a new awakening, like a new birth. I couldn't understand it, but I wasn't going to question it. I just loved it, and it felt amazing because it just felt like you were in a wormhole. So isochronic tones, by the way, check them out, and then find one that fits what you have a need for. They're all on YouTube. In the midst of listening to isochronic tones, I became like a lighthouse in a storm. Nothing could knock you over. I'm still at work. Bear with me.
Linda.
Welcome to my studio, by the way. Nothing could knock me over. And I'm going to hit send. Okay. That's when my third eye opened up. I didn't know it, but that was listening to these tones, and everything started popping. Everything started popping into place. The chemicals that were being released in my veins were amazing. Serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, whatever. Well, all of those, it was freaking amazing. So that's what got me in the right direction. But I was also going through the Kundalini opening, which is the hormonal change for women, and men have it as well. It's just not as quick as women sometimes. But anyway, that's another story. The Lighthouse in the Storm, it's where everything happens methodically. Like, and this is, I didn't realize this until I went to write this, to make this video. So, A Lighthouse in the Storm, it's methodically, what I did was, so, okay, I was literally flying into a storm. After I listened to these isochronic tones, there was a hurricane in Tampa where our cruise was going to take off, and we were taking off out of California. That was the second time we were flying into a hurricane for our vacation. And I was packed, I was ready, and I was in the zone. In other words, and I wrote this down, so it says, everything was completely comfortable for the journey because I was methodical in my planning of it. And I mean, you can do that anyway, but there was a feeling that I had in the midst of the planning, like I just knew every turn that I needed to make. And you know what that was? That's the Matrix. Okay, and I wrote this down because it was like, I remember Neo in the Matrix, when you see him doing the fight, he knows the next move that's going to happen, and it doesn't faze him. And that's what I was going through in that journey, because it was a long journey trying to get to Tampa, and I was packed for it. My husband was amazed. He was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm more than okay." He's like, "I want what you're having." Well, I didn't know how to tell him to get it because I'm like, I'm just going to hang on to it and I'll share if I can, you know. And as I was writing that about Neo and that epiphany, that synchronicity of realizing that the Matrix and the Neo is the feeling that I had in that particular state of flow, the numbers, it was 555 that came up on the screen. And since we're talking about flow, I have to bring this up in part of it. So 555, synchronicities, angel numbers, if you don't know what they are, look them up. It's pretty powerful. And that happened as I was writing about Neo just now. And 555 means that major life changes are occurring. Doesn't mean to be scared of anything. And Angel Talk on YouTube, these are the shortest videos that can give you information. It's Mary Jo McCulley with angel numbers. And she goes through all of the numbers, and 555 basically says fasten your seatbelts, hang on for the ride. And I've already had some amazing things happen in the past 24 hours of me doing my first day of this quest, which are going to come up in the next videos because this one's going to be way too long if I don't cut it short. So the next thing, take a breath. Flow is when mountains move. I follow Stephen Kotler, Abraham Hicks to help stay in flow. So, pardon me, I still have a head cold, but I'm feeling much better today. I'm excited to actually do these videos. I'm excited to be a part of the group. And thank you. I look forward to seeing your videos on your choices too. Thank you. Bye.